we enjoyed what we did in the first half. Very good. We're going to get more of the same, hopefully. Somebody was asking why have I got two guitars. Well, because I have, you know. No, this one is tuned normally, apart from when I tune the E string down to D, which I've just done. This one is tuned to Dadgad, which, if any technical people amongst you will know, slightly different. So it saves me tuning up and down all the time. Sort of topical, this one. It's based on one of those ballads, you know, these long, wordy ballad sheets called The Battle of the Alma. And I first heard it around about 1981, I think, this particular song. I've since learned that Donovan recorded a version of it, and this is probably based on his version, the guy who I heard it from. Long chorus, you need a big breath for it. September last, on the 18th day, we landed safe in the big Crimea, in spite of all the foaming spray, to cheer our hearts for Alma. That night we lay on the cold, cold ground, no tent, no shelter to be found, and with the rain was almost drowned all upon the heights of Alma. Then Britain's sons may long remember the glorious 20th of September. We caused the Russians to surrender on the heights of Alma. Next morning the raging sun did rise beneath the eastern cloudy skies. The noble chief Lord Raglan cries, prepare to march for Alma. But oh, when the heights they hove in view, the stoutest hearted could subdue, to see the Russians' warlike crew all upon the heights of Alma. Then Britain's sons may long remember the glorious 20th of September. We caused the Russians to surrender on the heights of Alma. Their city, she was well fortified, batteries on every side. The noble chief Lord Raglan cries, we'll get on work at Alma. The shot it flew like winter rain when we their batteries strove to gain. 1,500 Frenchmen slain in the bloody gore of Alma. Then Britain's sons may long remember the glorious 20th of September. We caused the Russians to surrender on the heights of Alma. Scottish lads with the sword and hose, they're not the last as you may suppose. Daringly they faced the foes and gained the heights of Alma. To Sevastopol the Russians fled, they left the wounded and the dead, and the rivers there they ran red with the blood that was spilled on Alma. Then Britain's sons may long remember the glorious 20th of September. We caused the Russians to surrender on the heights of Alma. 1,500 Frenchmen I've heard say fell upon that fatal day. 1,800 Russians lay in the bloody gore of Alma. Now France and England hand in hand, whate'er a foe could then withstand. So let it run throughout the land of the victory won at Alma. Then Britain's sons may long remember the glorious 20th of September. We caused the Russians to surrender on the heights of Alma. Then Britain's sons may long remember the glorious 20th of September. We caused the Russians to surrender on the heights of Alma. Thank you very much. I first heard that off a gentleman called Pete Smith, who lived up in Blackpool, and he sang with a lady called Jeannie Denny. You might remember them, I don't know. And sadly Pete passed away a while ago now, and well, it must have been 10 or 15 years maybe, but I was at Silverdale Folk Club and I sang that song, and I said, you know, Pete Smith sang that song, sadly he passed away. Somebody came up to me in the interval, did you say Pete Smith? And I said, yeah, that's right. He played with somebody called Jeannie Denny. I said, yeah, that's right, I've not seen her for years. She's my wife and she's sat at the back of the room. So I got back in touch with her, great, and we've become friends, proper friends since then. But, right, I'll do this song, it's called The Old Clog Dancer, or The Old Miner, written by Jimmy Elwood from County Durham. And he wrote it just to raise a bit of money. He's, put them on broadsheets, sold 2 or 3 on a broadsheet for, I think it was threepence or something like that. And Bob Davenport got hold of it and twisted it round a bit and folkified it a bit and added another verse to it, or somebody did anyway. So when you look at the original, it's not quite what I sing, but it's the same song. It's The Old Clog Dancer. There's a load of chorus as well, and you've probably heard me do it before, so have a go. Now the matters what fettle, I hope I find you well. If you gather round about me now, me story I will tell. For I used to be, when I was young, a miner like yourself. But now today me hair's turned grey, they put me on the shelf. For 50 years I've worked in the pits, and many's the change I've seen. When I was young and a man was done, they'd set him on the screen. But now today, why me hair's turned grey like a squatty with an outback leg. They say that I'm no use anymore, get out on the road and beg. Well, me age it is just 64, for working I've got no chance. They barred me from the championship for the belt in me clogs to dance. They said that I was getting old and for dancing I was no use. They told me to hoy me clogs so I get into the old workhouse. For 50 years I've worked in the pits, and many's the change I've seen. When I was young and a man was done, they'd set him on the screen. But now today, when me hair's turned grey like a squatty with an outback leg, they say that I'm no use anymore, get out on the road and beg. So whilst I am amongst you all, if you'll give me a chance, along with me you will agree I can still play for the dance. And if you'll pay attention now, to please you I will try, and I'll play for you some champion tunes that I played in years gone by. For 50 years I've worked in the pits, and many's the change I've seen. When I was young and a man was done, they'd set him on the screen. But now today, why me hair's turned grey like a squatty with an outback leg. They say that I'm no use anymore, get out on the road and beg. So come all of you pitmen lads, take heed to what I say. Get out the pit while you're young enough and make out your own way. For if you don't and you stay below, you'll wait to find one day that you're all washed up and you've got the push because your hair's turned grey. For 50 years I've worked in the pits, and many's the change I've seen. When I was young and a man was done, they'd set him on the screen. But now today, why me hair's turned grey like a squatty with an outback leg. They say that I'm no use anymore, get out on the road and beg. They say that I'm no use anymore, get out on the road and beg. I don't really play this as often as I should. It's a GD Anglo-Concertina. Right, this is Billy Suet's song. It's a Lancashire song written by Major David Halstead from somewhere up Rossendale way. And he wrote this song. Billy Suet, there's 4 lads. There's Poncake, Boddle, Mischief, Poncake and me. I'm Billy Suet, and we're set out to court and subsequently marry 4 lasses: Sarah, Mary, Martha and Kate. I'm trying to do this in my best George Formby accent. Are you alright? Sarah, Mary, Martha and Kate. And let's say we set out to court and subsequently marry. Pairing off, otherwise it's an orgy, Anyway, I think the girls, this is the time when they used to weave at home, so they had a loom at home, or what they called a pair of looms. When the girls got married and left home, they took their looms with them, hence heirloom. Right? You learn things when you come to folk clubs. And I think I'm going to get the best girl with the best pair of looms. Yeah, I usually gets that. But I don't, and I go to the next girl and so on and so on. There's a word in the last verse, Faust, ugliest. I've just given the plot away there. Bottle and mischief and pancake and me one Saturday morning went out for a spree. Four lasses we met as we're going up Slate. There were Sarah and Mary and Martha and Kate. I says Martha and Kate. They lived with the father upon Cribden side. He worked upon farm while their shuttles they plied. And they've all got the looms, the old father, he said, when they leave Cribden side for to go and get wed. He said, go and get wed. Well, I needed a loom and I needed a wife, for I'm getting right stalled of a bachelor's life. And Bottle and Mischief and Pancake all said they'd been long enough single, they'd go and get wed. They said, go and get wed. Well, Sarah, I said, I'm bound to have thee. I'm too fond of mischief, said Sarah to me, and I'm promised a good pair of looms when I'm wed. Big gum, sal, I'll take 'em. And the Mischief said, Well, next I asked Martha if who'd court with me, when I hasn't a bottle to bless this way. So Bottle took this as a hint to propose, and a good pair of looms, and Martha I'll lose. I says, Martha I'll lose. Well, Mary and Kate were soon left by their cell. One day we see Kate fetching water from well, and Pancake and me both together did strike. I ne'er cared for suet, but Pancake I'll like. She says, Pancake I'll like. Well, Mal and her looms, they were both still to let, and it weren't very long before Mary I met. I were twisting a warp in the out spinning rooms. Now I've getting Faust lass and worst pair of looms. I says, worst pair of looms. Talking of Mike Harding, see how effortless go into these things. This is one of his songs. It's called Christmas 1914. Christmas Eve, 1914. Stars are burning, burning bright, all along the western front. Guns are lying still and quiet. Men lay dozing in the trenches, in the cold and in the dark. Far away behind the lines, a village dog began to bark. Some lay thinking of their families, some sang songs, others were quiet, rolling fags and playing brag, to pass away this Christmas night. As they watched the German trenches, something moved in no man's land, and through the dark there came a soldier, carrying a white flag in his hand. Then from both sides men came running, crossing into no man's land, through the barbed wire, mud and shell holes, shy while he stood there shaking hands. Fritz brought out cigars and brandy, Tommy brought corned beef and fags. Stood there laughing, talking, singing, as the moon shone down on no man's land. Christmas Day we all played football in the mud of no man's land. Tommy brought some Christmas pudding, Fritz brought out a German band. When they beat us at the football, we shared out all the grub and drink, and Fritz showed me a faded photo of a brown-haired girl back in Berlin. For 4 days after, no one fired, not one shell disturbed the night. For old Fritz and Tommy Atkins, they both lost the will to fight. So they withdrew us from the trenches, sent us far behind the lines, sent fresh troops to take our places, and told the guns prepare to fire. And next night in 1914, flares are burning, burning bright. The message came, prepare offensive, 'cause over the top we're going tonight. Men stood waiting in the trenches, looked out across our football park, and all along the western front the Christmas guns began to bark. Men stood waiting in the trenches, looked out across our football park, and all along the western front the Christmas guns began to bark. Talking of the war, this is one from the Second World War, which I've sort of had a request for. I'm going to do it anyway. A lot of people did it, but I think Vera Lynn probably was the one that made it famous. Manning Sherwin and Eric Maschwitz wrote it. And you never hear the first bit. There's a lot of songs that they've got a first bit you never hear, and people go, what this is, and then they come into the sort of main chorus, if you like, and oh, it's this one. And this song's a bit like that. Maggie says, used to say, well, she still does, you're like Columbo, you. You know, just one more thing. Don't tell them. It's been videoed, this, isn't it? Join in the bits, you know, alright. When true lovers meet in Mayfair, so the legends tell, songbirds sing and winter turns to spring. Every winding street in Mayfair falls beneath the spell. I know such enchantment can be, 'cause it happened one evening to me. That certain night, the night we met, there was magic abroad in the air. There were angels dining at the Ritz, and a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm perfectly willing to swear that when you turned and smiled at me, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. The moon that lingered over London town, oh puzzled moon, he wore a frown. How could he tell we two were so in love? The whole darn world seemed upside down. This heart of mine beat loud and fast like a merry-go-round in the fair, and we were dancing cheek to cheek, and a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. As dawn came stealing up all gold and blue to interrupt our rendezvous, I still remembered how you smiled and said, "Is this a dream or is it true?" The streets in town were paved with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And as we kissed and said goodnight, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I know 'cause I was there that night in Banjovideos Square. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining in. Right, I'll finish on this one before we get Dave back up. Oops, in the same key, not to worry. I'll try not to do that. But, it's an old song, this, from 1911, and people say, they come up to me and say, "Oh, my granddad used to love that song." There's lots for you to join in. And I'll make you join in, or we'll be here till midnight. List to me whilst I tell you of the Spaniard that blighted my life. List to me whilst I tell you how he stole away my future wife. 'Twas at the bullfight where we met him. We were watching his daring display, and whilst I was out for some nuts and a programme, the dirty dog stole her away. Oh yes, oh yes, but I've sworn that I'll have my revenge if I catch Alfonso Smagoni, the Toreador. With one mighty swipe I will dislocate his valley jaw. I'll find the bullfight and I will, and if I catch the bounder, the blighter I'll kill. He shall die, he shall die, he shall die, diddly, die, 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 he shall die, he shall die, for I'll raise a bullion on his Spanish onion if I catch him bending tonight. Well, thank you very much for singing, but there are actions that go with this. When we get to the he shall die, I want you to go, I go, he shall die, and you go, he shall die, he shall die. Yes, let's have a go at that, shall we? Yes, when I catch Spagoni, he will wish that he'd never been born. And for this special reason, my stiletto I fetched out of pawn. It cost me 5 shillings to fetch it. This expense, it has caused me much pain, but the pawnbroker's promised when I've killed Spagoni, he'll take it in pawn once again. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. So tonight there will be dirty work if I catch Alfonso Spagoni, the Toreador. With one mighty swipe I will dislocate his bally jaw. I'll find the bullfight and I will, and if I catch the bounder, the blighter I'll kill. He shall die, he shall die, he shall die, diddly, die, 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 he shall die, he shall die, or I'll raise a onion on his Spanish onion if I catch him bending tonight. Oh, that was excellent. Can you come with me on all the gigs I do? I tracked him to London, but he gave me the slip once again. And they told me this morning that he'd doubled and gone back to Spain. whatever it costs me, I'll catch him. Then no more will he give me the slip. With me last one and ninepence on Sunday, I'm going to Spain by the Sunday late trip. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And then the dark deed will be done. If I catch Alphonsus Magoghi, the Tory and all, with one mighty swipe I will dislocate his bally jaw. I'll find a bullfighter, I will, and if I catch the bounder, the blight and I'll kill. He shall die, he shall die, he shall die, he shall die, he shall die. Exactly the same again. Not the same songs. Well, we are the same songs, right? Because apparently you weren't doing very well at the choruses, so he's going to have another go.
Keep on doing it.
Right, okay, let's have another fine round of applause, please. Okay.
This is a song about it's a song about health. It's about men's health, really. It's about my health, really. It's called the hypochondriac song. Something I've found is, no matter what happens, never ever Google your symptoms. Never ever Google your symptoms. I had an excuse, or something sticking out in my body, and I won't tell you where it is, but suffice to say I needed a mirror to look at it, and I didn't. And I was getting very worried, and eventually I did Google this, and in about 10 keystrokes, I was absolutely convinced I'd either got bubonic plague, necrotizing fasciitis, or syphilis. Well, it also said it might not be anything, but of course I thought you could just discount that. It's obviously something dreadful, and you shouldn't. Oh, you should. Oh, you didn't, right? So I kept it. I do what men do. I didn't tell anybody, and just worried a bit, and a couple of sleepless nights, and eventually I came to the point where I was going to have to ask, and I asked my partner Marina. And I said, well, I've got this, and I can only see with it. Would you have a? And she used to be a nursing care assistant. So basically, she's got the empathy of Genghis Khan, and she's got the striking speed of a king cobra. And she said, "Let me have a look. Just show me." And she said, "Right." I said, "Don't touch it! Don't touch it!" And she said, "I'm not going to. Just let me look." And then she went. Crack! It was a spot. Get bloody real. There's a chorus that goes, I'm slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at death's door? I'm slipping away, I've been slipping now since 1964. Will you sing that with me? If you don't mind. And there's a bit in it that goes, I'll tell you what, I'll do it. Slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at this door? You can go, do, so you can bang your chocolate box or your glass or your feet or your head, anything like that. That's it. I'm slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at this door? Slipping away, I've been slipping now since 1964. I'm so full of pills, I rattle when I walk. My throat's so sore that I can hardly talk. My breath comes in ragged gasps and I could only say I don't know how I'm managing the 40 fags a day. It can't be perseverance or persistence that I lack. I tell you it's a hard life for a hypochondriac. Oh, I'm slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at this door? Slipping away, I've been slipping now since 1964 like the Holy Land. Me adenoids are so inflamed they're glowing. Me sinuses are full to overflowing. That was a great photograph. She meant I tried all of the treatments, now me Dr. Silly Sod. He's made me an appointment with the man from Dynarod. He's threatened me with dynamite if I should dare go back. I tell you it's hard life for a hypochondriac. Come on, slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at this door? Slipping away, I've been slipping now since 1964. Me doctor's taken sick leave recently, and the vicar's just gone ex-directory. The mention of me name, me social worker cries and screams. The Samaritans pretend to be an answering machine. Leave your message speaking clearly, the tone they call you back. It's that nutter from Stoke again. I tell you it's a hard life for a hypochondriac. Come on, slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at this door? Slipping away, I've been slipping now since 1964. No one would believe how bad I feel. Even hypochondriacs get ill for real. I'm a shadow of before myself, reduced to skin and bones. Last time I got on the scales was only 18 stone. I'm not long for this world, all its worries and its woes. See, I can do long notes as well. On my tombstone will be written, there you are, I told you so. Oh, slipping away, can't you see I'm knocking at this door? Slipping away a little farther every day. I've been slipping now since 1964. I've been slipping now since 1964. I've been slipping now since 1964. Very much. Mark always buys his rent. I was talking to my lad's 42 this year. How the hell did that happen? I blame his mum actually, because I think she said, "Oh, grow up," so often when he was a teenager. Actually, he did. Where do we need to clamp for this? Oh, yeah. We were having a slight libation of the malt whiskey variety at his house. And we were talking about this thing. You know when your dad takes you out for that very, very first pint when you're 18, you know, it's a big ritual, and you go to the local pub and he buys you this pint. The fact you've been drinking since you were 14 doesn't seem to count. But we went, and I took him out. And we tried this, and he was reminding me about the night I took him out for his very first drink. This song is called "Get It Down, You Son." Last week I took my son out, that first pint with his father, while his mum was at her mother's for the night. Well, I ordered pints of Stella, he wasn't keen on lager, so when I'd had mine I finished off his pints. I said, get it down, you son, you're only just begun, this is a night you will remember all your days. Get it down, you son, there's no need to tell your mum. If it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where it stays. You can do that better. And to the Duke of Gloucestershire I took my eldest child, to see if there was something to his taste. Well, he soon made it clear he wasn't drinking mild, so I supped them both, avoided any waste. I said, get it down, you son, you're only just begun, this is a night you will remember all your days. Get it down, you son, there's no need to tell your mum. If it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where it stays. It's coming into it, I can hear it leaking into existence. Then to the coach and horses I took my eldest child, to see if there was something to his taste. He soon made it clear he wasn't drinking mild, so I supped them both, avoiding any waste. And I said, get down, son, only just begun, this is a night you will remember all your days. Get it down, you son, there's no need to tell your mum. If it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where it stays. I was feeling quite disconsolate, I thought we'd better finish, but we popped into the Queen's for one last try. Geez, you should have seen his face, but he took a sip of Guinness. Without a thought, I drank both glasses dry. I said, get it down, son, only just begun, this is a night you will remember all your days. Get it down, you son, there's no need to tell your mum. If it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where it stays. Well, I tried him on the whiskey, on the brandy and the ouzo, the baby shap, the port and cherry bee. There's just no pleasing some folk when it comes down to the booze, so in the end seems all the drinking fell to me. And I said, get it down, you son, you're only just begun, this is a night you will remember all your days. Get it down, you son, there's no need to tell your mum. And if it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where it stays. I admit that I was wounded. You know, I felt a little snubbed. Me lad can't have a drink with his old man. And after all the efforts, when I came to leave the pub, I was so pissed that I could hardly push his pram. And I said, get it down, you son, you're only just begun, this is a night you will remember all your days. Get it down, you son, there's no need to tell your mum. If it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where. Yes, if it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where. Oh, if it happens in the pub, me boys, the pub is where it stays. Don't tell anyone. I don't know about you, but I have just got sick and tired of seeing my friends and our musical companions and our funky family slip away during these last 2 years. I've just got fed up of people who I've loved, who I've played with, who we know well, who've just slipped away, and you know, that's it. That's kind of it. It's all over. And so I came up with this sort of fantasy that it isn't all over. There's going to be this massive session on the other side that we're all going to meet up again. It's like my what's it called? Yes, it's my folky Fiddler's Green. This is where all the people that we've loved and lost. I bet everybody in here has lost somebody out of the folk world, and and to say nothing of Vin and Barry Coop, and of course Norma Waterson recently, and particularly I'd like to do this tonight for Pete Skinner, my mate Pete Skinner. He was in a duo called Penny Black years and years ago when me and Jeff were going, and they were massive fans and support of her, and he was a lovely guy, and he's done so much for charity. And I just got this thing out of the blue on Wednesday, I think, that said Pete just slipped away in the night, and it's done, it's gone, and that's it. And so I wrote this song. I've written this song. It's not new tonight by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll sing it for you. It's called Session on the Other Side. As a chorus, it says there's a session on the other side, a session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we've missed for far too long, they're singing in that session on the other side. And I think we will be. It's going to be great. Can you remember how I did this? I've been thinking of the friends I've lost, too many and too soon. I've been thinking of the way their songs and laughter lit a room. And it's a comfort to me, though it's here I must abide, to think they're out there singing in a session on the other side. Well, there's a session on the other side, session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we missed for far too long, they're singing in a session on the other side. There'll be familiar faces you've not seen for many a year. A few you maybe won't recall, others near and dear. There'll be time for reacquaintances, time for sweeter sides, and rolling back those long years in the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side, session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we missed for far too long, they're singing in the session on the other side. There'll be banjos and accordions, fiddles and guitars, mandolins, melodeons and whistles and barons. No one's more surprised than me, they're all in tune and time, in perfect pitch and harmony, in the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side, session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we missed for far too long, they're singing in a session on the other side. It's lovely. They'll sing the shores of heaven, they'll sing 70, and 100 other songs and shanties we all knew back then. And you'll hear skiffs and trawlers slip out on the morning tide, all hands on deck and singing in the session on the other side. Come on, hands. There's a session on the other side, there's a session on the other side, between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs we've missed for far too long, you're singing in a session on the other side. There's wine from many a country boys, spirit stout and strong. The beer, it's always crystal clear like sunshine on your tongue. The bar is always open and no payment is required. So if you get there first, well, slake your thirst. A session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. Between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, where the singers and the songs miss for far too long. They're singing in a session on the other side. Don't think I've been good enough for heaven. Hope I've not been bad enough for hell. Had a taste of both down here, I'm sure you have yourselves. When the time for parting comes, well, I'll be satisfied to think I'm heading over to the session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. There's a session on the other side. Between the darkness and the dawn, across the great divide, singers and the songs we've missed for far too long. They're singing in a session on the other side. Yes, they'll be singing in a session on the other side. I think, Robert, how are you, mate? It's really good, fantastic. Arnold Barrick, sorry you had to go so soon, mate, but great to see you. Norma Waterson and Glenn and Michael sat together. Session on the other side. This is a song. It's actually from Stoke, and talking to a friend who said he'd been up to Bagnall the other day, and rather than come back from Stoke up the M6, he went back through Leek and through the. I think that'll do. Yeah, he came back through a different route, and actually the route he came back would have had the thing I'm going to sing about now. When I was a kid, me and Macca Mountford, Kev Sims and Phil Stevenson used to go down to the Victoria Colliery. It was actually called the Black Bull those days, because as you know, we can't speak, can't say multiple syllables, so it was called the Black Bull instead of the Victoria Colliery. And we used to play, this was our playground, the Black Bull Colliery. It was amazing because the shaft was on one side of the road, and there was this gantry that came up over the top of the road, and then the pit heap went out for about a quarter of a mile out into the fields of the countryside. And these buckets used to come clanking up out of it. Massive things. You could get a car in when they were that big, and they would rattle and clank over the top of the road and out to the end of the tip. And then there was a mechanism that would trip them. They would turn over and dump the pit waste down onto the tip, and then they'd come back swinging back into the depths. And we used to climb on this gantry and ride these things. And I'll tell you what, if my mum knew some of the stuff I'd done. But it was so exciting. I mean, Alton Towers. And you had to make two things. You had to make sure that the one behind you was empty, or you'd just get a bit buried alive. And make sure that there wasn't anything sharp in the one in front of you, because that's what you're going to get landing on when you got tipped out at the end. In the lee, in the shadow of this massive tip, there were two rows of cottages, one called Chain Row and one called Fan Row, and they were so close to the tip that because the sun rose on the other side, these cottages never got any sunlight, and this song's called The Black Hill, and it's Those cottages are still there. The tip's gone, which is what the subject of the song. The cottages are still there, but they're called Victorian cottages now. They've been gentryised, which means I think they put the bogs inside. It's called the Black Hill. And it seems like a shadow has gone from my eyes that I never noticed for most of my life. And the sun shining in through the windows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. Well, the land is all pleasant, the fields are all green, and to tell you the truth, it all seems like a dream. 'Cause I've lived in the darkness now, 50 years on, the darkness and dirt and the Black Hill are gone. And it seems like a shadow has gone from my eyes. I hadn't noticed for most of my life, and the sun shining in through the windows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. You got it? Well, I saw it grow up as I grew from a boy, till it blocked out the fields and it blacked out the sky. And in summer the dust hung like mist in the lane, and in winter the windows ran thick with black rain. Oh, it seems like a shadow has gone from my eyes. I hadn't noticed for most of my life, and the sun shining in through the windows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. As a man I'd be working before the sunrise, a 14-hour shift in the Davies dim light, and I'd stagger home weary and stinking of sweat. The hill always there, but the sun always set, and it seems like a shadow has gone from my eyes. I hadn't noticed for most of my life, and the sun shining in through the windows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. Then one day they said they were closing the mine. Soon diggers were crawling across the skyline, and now it's only a memory, just an old name. It's back in the darkness from where it first came. Oh, it seems like a shadow has gone from my eyes. I hadn't noticed for most of my life, and the sun shining in through the windows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. Now I sit in my parlour, I'm looking over the top, and the fields are all green from Millhays to Mount Cop. And the sun in the gardens, the sun in the yards, for the first time in years I've the sun in my heart. And it seems like a shadow has gone from my eyes. I hadn't noticed for most of my life, and the sun shining in through the windows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. Yes, the sun shining in through the windrows and doors of Chain Row and Fan Row and the Black Hills no more. Black Hills. I really liked how you sang the session on the other side, by the way. Thank you. Really nice. It's kind of how I had it in my mind. You can't do it on Zooms, can you? But it's very nice when you this is. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to leave you with this one, and you're very welcome to it. I think we've got to know each other quite nicely over this evening. We had a bit of a chat with a few of you, and maybe make a friend here and there. And so, I think it's probably not unreasonable of me to ask a personal question at this stage in the proceedings. No, okay. Have you started putting things away safe and never seen them again?
Can I tell you?
Please do.
I put my caravan keys in the caravan away safe.
Yeah.
When I went out.
Yes.
Forgot where they were.
Yeah.
Cost me £80 to get a new set of keys. And then 2 weeks later I found them. I remembered where they are.
Honestly, don't feel as if you're out on a limb on your own. Some of the stuff I hear is blinding. I was doing a festival somewhere, and I was talking about this. This lady said we were going away on holiday, and we got some quite nice jewellery that we didn't want to leave lying about. And there was a loose floorboard on the landing upstairs, so I picked that up and put it under there. And 3 months later, after we'd had the whole house recarpeted, somebody said, "Do you know those jewels we put away before we went on holiday? Do you know where they are?" And she said, "Oh shit, the carpets are not lasting." But that's, to be honest, that's nothing. Oh, and I've started doing this as well. This happened to me the other night. We were watching television. Actually, Marina was watching television. I was buggering about on my phone as usual. And she was like, watch this. So I put my glasses on so I could see what was the television. And I thought, going back to the hypochondriac thing the other on, I thought, oh God, blimey, I'm having a stroke. I said, "Is that television all right?" She said, "Yeah, it's fine. What's up?" I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "You've got 2 pairs of glasses on." And the one I really liked, but my favourite one was a guy who told me, I'm not making this up, he told me this. He got stopped going on to an aircraft in July, going to somewhere sunny, like Benidorm or something like that. And they stopped him, the cabin crew stopped him because he got an electric fire under his arm. And they said, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you, why are you bringing that onto the aircraft today?" And he was a bit sheepish, but eventually he said, "Well, to be absolutely honest, it's the only way I can be sure I've turned it off." Right, so we'll do this now. This song's called Mind Up. It's called Mind Up. If you've done something like this, first of all, if you want to do it now, that's fine. You will say it now. If not, come and tell me afterwards, and I'll put you in for next time. Humiliate you in public next time. Yeah, so that's that. I'd like to say a few thank yous. Thank you, Adele, for looking at that. Really good. For looking at and to him at the back for bringing me drinks up and adjusting the microphones and all that kind of stuff. But chiefly for yourselves, and thank you so much for singing. It's been just, you don't know how different it's been, but it has been lovely. Thanks so much. I'll leave you with this now. Thank you, I was going to Majorca with me missus, son and daughter for a week of sea and sand and Spanish pop. And we'd just got to the airport when a relatively rare thought just popped into me head and made me stop. I said, "I wish we bought the telly." They said, "Dad, you're being silly." I said, "I'm not, I've left the tickets on the top." Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost, Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. Well, I can't put names to faces, and I can't put names to faces, I can't remember places that I must have seen 100 times or more. I get mixed up with the children's names, called Vicky, Jem and Davy Jane. I don't think they even notice anymore. I tell a joke and one will say, you told us that one yesterday. For instance, how many folk singers does it take to change a light bulb? It takes 3. There's 1 to change the light bulb, and the other 2 to sing about how much better candles were. And the other thing, yes, and the day before. Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing, me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. I still give the girls the eye, although I can't remember why. And I'm worried that I might have lost the knack. Though I've checked the tackles working fine with frequent 30 tests offline. So all I need to get me back on track is just champagne and a jacuzzi and a sympathetic floozy. And a sympathetic floozy. Just hope to God it all comes flooding back. Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. Well, I don't know who to blame for addling me brain. I don't know if it's the hand of God or man, because it could be something that you see, or petrol fumes or something else, or petrol fumes or aluminium bands. Although I think that Jameson and Haig and Marston's, Ruddles and Lafrague should be prepared to carry half the can. Oh, me belly's gone to pot, me eyes are on the blink, me hair came off in handfuls and it vanished down the sink. Me hearing and me sense of smell have given up the ghost. Of all the things I've lost, I think I miss me mind the most. I really think I miss me mind the most. Oh, hello. I really think I miss me mind the most.
Get one, do you? And I think we should get Mark back up from the back. But before, we're back on the 23rd of April. We've got Finn and Welcome and Crimes, and we've also got Keith Price returning. So we'll try and keep it going as long as we can, despite all these issues that are going on. And Mark is just amazing as well. So come on.
Come on, Doc.
Come on. And can we give them all a big round of applause?
Dave and I are both animal lovers. I love my animals with potatoes and gravy. Well, I'm a member of life member.
I'll do the jokes.
Oh, sorry. I'm a life member of Chester Zoo, so we go there. You see all these animals there. But this is a song about a bloke who took his pet ferret to an official function. Or as we say in these parts, a do. Well, you might not in Cheshire, but we do up in Lancashire. So like we have a birthday do or a wedding do, you know.
We have a soiree here.
Soiree. Soiree. So, I'll do this. It's you probably know it anyway. It's a true story about it. Well, you don't. He's just going to sort of vamp along somewhere along the way. I'm doing the fancy bits. He's just going, you know.
Don't change there, then.
Yeah. I'll start off with the chorus, okay. I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with the wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. He slipped his lead with some butter from the sauce. He patterned on the table with his dirty little paws. Oh, said the vicar's wife, this rabbit isn't dead, as he danced a little jig around the attic on her head. Oh, I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with their wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. He ran round her collar and down the front he tore. He wriggled down her knicker leg and danced upon the floor. Oh, said the vicar, that's a sewer rat, I'm sure. Well, if that's the case, his wife replied,
I wish we had some more.
I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with the wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. He ran through the soup and he nibbled at the peas. He dribbled all the gravy down the mare's knocky knees. And then he quenched his ferret's thirst with half a pint of shandy, and then relieved his little self in Mrs. Riley's brandy. I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with their wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. Well, the ladies left their tables and began to dance with fright. They shouted out in panic at the little ferret's sight. He nibbled at their stockings and he tickled all their knees. And the vicar's wife kept shouting,
Can we have some more of that, please?
oh, I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with their wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. He ran up and down the curtains and he swam about the punch. He herded all the ladies in a corner, in a bunch. And then to end the escapade he did a little quickie. He ran up the speaker's dinner suit and nibbled at his collar. I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with their wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. Well, they caught the little fellow and they put him in a box. They give him anaesthetic from the vicar's woolly socks. They sang him Annie Laurie in the mayor's own car, and then they got him back as fast as hell to John Willie's pen. Oh, I was there, so were you. The mayor and the vicar and the council too, with the wives and ladies on full view. The night John Willie took his ferret to a do. With this one, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming along tonight and singing and supporting the club. It's great to see live things going on again. Hopefully they will continue. The Zoom has been fantastic actually, because we've met people, or I certainly have met people who I wouldn't have met otherwise, you know.
All over the world.
Yes, people all over the world, yeah. Yeah. Great. So it's been a great thing actually, but nice to be back live and listening to people singing to you. Like I said, I'm a member of Chester Zoo, a life member, and we go around and there's a certain routes we take, and certain, you know, if we go one day we might go to the Jaguars, and then another day we'll go to the Tigers. And if you go around to the Tigers, the islands, if you know Chester Zoo, you come round past the painted dogs, the African painted dogs, and you come to this like mound, and there's a glass the front of this mound, you know. And you look in there, and there's these two balls of skin on the floor, and they're just lying there doing note. And you think, Have they actually moved since we were here a week or so ago? And I don't think they have. And these are the aardvarks. Dave's going to sing a song about aardvarks. And I'm going to tell you.
When God made creation, the seas and crustaceans, the dry land and forests and woods, and very soon mammals like horses and camels came issuing forth the primeval mud. And when it was right, he said, "Let there be light," and there was, 'cause he left hand to look. And the first thing he sees when he looks down is me, in his angelic voice he went, "Yuck." Oh, it's hard for being an aardvark. It's a lot harder than you might think. All day on your pins, you're trying to convince a hard and caring world you're not really extinct. No one says,
"Oh, look, there's an aardvark."
like they might do a camel or cat. They just give us a kick or a poke with a stick, and they say,
What the hell do you call that?
Now if you ask a Zen what gives him most pleasure, he might say life on Savannah. See, don't give a toss that it looks like a cross between an old horse and an upright piano. When kids at the zoo, they get their first view of the zebra, they always go, "Oh." But when they see me, they react differently, and that is what makes life so hard. Let's have a go. It's hard for being an aardvark. It's a lot harder than you might think. And all day on your pins, you're trying to convince a hard and caring man you're not really extinct. No one says, "There's an aardvark," like they might do a camel or cat. They just give us a kick or a poke with a stick, and they say, "What the hell do you call that?" Now ask a giraffe, he'll say, "It's 4.5 feet, 20 feet high is the vine. I can see all the trees with the greatest of ease, but I can't get to scratch me, oh well, never mind." And he'll stop and say, "It's a pain in the neck." I wouldn't say he was wrong. Wouldn't you be self-righteous if you got tonsillitis when your tonsils were 10'6" long? Say, it's hard for being an aardvark. It's a lot harder than you might think. And all day on your pins, you're trying to convince a hard and caring world you're not really extinct. No one says, "Oh look, there's an aardvark," like they What the hell do you call that? They just